Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of Drag the Lake. It's your faithful leader, me, Andy Malafrina. We are here today talking some damn shit. Welcome. If you're listening to this in the future on Spotify and shit, thank you very much. Thank you for checking out the Spotify. It's very cool you do that. It's very fun. It's very awesome that you do that. But if you ever want to get in the mix and hang out and be a real one, get in the chat, twitch.tv/Andy Malfrina. That's my personal Twitch. But if you're not a fan of Twitch, a lot of people aren't. That's completely fine. Go over to youtube.com. What's the YouTube link again? Oh, yeah. youtube.com/ and you got to put like an @ it's stupid. You got to put, youtube.com/ @drag the lake 732. And you can hop in the live chat there. We have a good, fun conversation. It's a solo pod to me for me today. No, I just thought to mention that just because yesterday's episode ended very hilariously, where the whole time Pat said he was going to be in at 10:30, and then the whole time I was like, where is the guy? But he was also like doing some editing stuff. Pat is basically the co-host of the show, but he is also he's a Deusa. He's a Pat Deusa. So his schedule is irregular at times. So sometimes he can't make the pod, which is totally fine because then I get to do I like it. I like sometimes doing I like when me and Pat do it because like I don't want to just be in an echo chamber with me. I was thinking about it because I do like to just be solo Andy, so I can be the dictator of I can be the Maduro of the pod. But then occasionally we do need a little bit of foreign U.S. intervention. And I'm trying to think of current analogies. No, but yeah, I like ripping solo pods and I like ripping Pat pods. I like a Pat George Ripper. So it's all fucking chill, dude. But anyway, hey yo, Big Red in the echo chamber. Nah, for real though, because like I've caught myself. That's why I may not like, dude, I was thinking about it yesterday after we recorded Panties, which by the way, Panties is generational this week. Is that the right term? Generational. Panties is fucking epic. It's actually kind of ironic I'm wearing the Chappelle beanie. I didn't shit on Chappelle. I just I was just poking fun at Chappelle at the end of the episode because now I have all respect for Chappelle. A lot of people are like, because he's in his dropping knowledge era. So a lot of people are like, Chappelle's not making me laugh every 5 seconds of my life. He's a fucking hack. Or the other opposite end is like, well, he did a joke pointing out why trans. He did a very good joke about pointing out the weird shit about trans stuff. He's the devil. So there's a lot of hate on Chappelle that I'm just like, hey man, I'm not sitting here watching every special. I don't need to see Chappelle drop knowledge on Netflix special. That's fine. But also too, he is also a fucking legend, and he's like his first couple specials were some of the greatest shit ever. Chappelle show's amazing. So all these people like going out of their way to like shit on Chappelle that he like all these people going out of their way to shit on Chappelle like he just hasn't put up fucking numbers. You know what I mean? It's kind of like almost how like the Undertaker. You know how like the Undertaker's last couple matches were a little bit because his body's not there anymore. We don't just pretend like the first, however long, like let's say Undertaker wrestled for 50 years. We don't just pretend the first 40 didn't happen. You know what I mean? So that's why all the like over the top criticisms of Chappelle. Now, I will say there are stories apparently where he like blacks out at the stand. And it's like I hear like people like Cypher Sounds defend that, where it's like Dave Chappelle blacked out is better than Dave Chappelle off the top blacked out is better than any comics best material. And I gotta go. Well, I gotta imagine that's not true. Gotta imagine that's not. Oh shit, my Chappelle beanie is falling off. I gotta imagine that's not a true statement. I will say for the intrigue of it. Like just as a comedian who loves the craft and loves the process and so, oh, by the way, that's a bookshelf I'm making. I didn't get in a fight and break shit. But as a comedian who's intrigued by the process and stuff, I'd probably watch Chappelle fucking uh, 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 work shit out for an hour. That would be intriguing to me. And he's also, whether you think he's funny anymore or not, his ability to keep you locked in. Like even if he is in his dropping knowledge era, and maybe some of the knowledge is like, yeah, man, we know that already. You know, I will say he has an uncanny ability to keep you locked in and paying attention. But anyway, I just thought I was trying to find my beanie I wanted to wear for the podcast, and I think they're all in the wash. So this was the only beanie I found. But what was I talking about? Chappelle? Oh yeah, no, the other that was the thing I was poking fun at Chappelle about. Well, no, it was like all the people. I don't know, man. Like Schultz was like the only person who I thought had a fucking. I forget exactly what Schultz said, but Schultz was like the only person um who I thought had a good defense of going to Saudi Arabia, where Schultz is like, I'll go where the fans are. And he's like, people are paying me to do stand up. And I think like, don't get me wrong, there was definitely a lot of aspects of the Saudi shit that like bummed me the fuck out. Like, they helped out with like how Matt and Shane said, you don't 9/11 your friends. You know what I mean? Like they did a lot of help for 9/11, and that's super not chill. But also at this, I gotta be perfect. I don't fault anyone for going to Saudi. Like, if they ask me, not that they would, but if they ask me, and then people are like, "What the fuck?" Especially me being like a conspiracy guy, they'd be like, "What the fuck? Why'd you go to Saudi Arabia?" And I go, "Well, first off, they were giving me $1 bajillion to work for the weekend." And I got to be honest, like as a comedian, like Kevin Hart was probably one that I was like, you didn't really need the money. But like a lot of the other comedians, especially more like the Sam Morril types and like the headliners that are really popular, but they're not the legends. You know what I mean? Like Mark Norman, Sam Morril, uh, Andrew Santino. I think Andrew Santino went, Andrew Schultz. They're all like really popular headliners, but they're not like these legends and well established. Like, yeah, they're not like the legends like Louis Burns stuff. Those dudes I get because it's like there's always a thing in you as a comic of like, I've worked so fucking hard and I've wasted so much of my time and I gave up so fucking much. I gave up so fucking much and all this and that. And just the idea that it's like, yeah, you want to make six figures over a weekend, you know? You just think about every goddamn open mic that you had to drive to and every fucking, like all of the normal life you had to miss out on and all this other stuff. And now, like, you get, like, I'm sure they all understood the parameters of it, but it's just, I got to imagine being like Sam Morril, who I'm sure he's doing completely fine money wise. But even that, like, where he's at, just, Saudi Arabia's like, here's six figures. This thing you worked your whole life at really hard and sacrificed a bunch and stuff. Here's six figures to fucking do that for the weekend. Like, there's part of you as a stand-up who's like, I earned that. And you're like, I get it. It's from Saudi Arabia, but I fucking earned that. So, like, I get that. And then the other part, legitimately, I go, I would love to see what Saudi Arabia is like. Now, it sucked ass. They made them do all those weird videos of like pouring sand through their hands, and like the bigger celebrities had to make videos where they were like, I really fucking love being here. You know what I mean? These guys are so fucking cool. But I will, and maybe this is just ignorance of how evil Saudi Arabia is, but I mean, all the countries are super evil. Like every country's super fucking evil. It's just a matter of how evil they fucking are. And it's like, if they like, there is something to the fact of them, on in the public normie space of them actually trying to be, in the same realm as other first world countries. You know what I mean? There is something to it of like showing that effort. And then, yeah, I got to keep it a fucking brick, dude. Like, I would just be like, I'm so curious what Saudi Arabia is like. You know what I mean? I'd just be so fascinated what Saudi Arabia is like. So, like, I get wanting to go over here. My whole thing, though, is like people like I saw the clip from his special where he's talking about Bill Maher, which I found myself over years defending Bill Maher because it's like, but it's a weird thing where it's like I don't like Bill Maher. I made fun of him on the pod because it's like Bill Maher's so smarmy and cunty all the time. Like he makes some good points, but he's so smarmy and cunty all the time. And I remember seeing a clip from one of his podcasts where he was talking to Roseanne, and she was talking about he was talking to Roseanne, and Roseanne was talking about let me get a drink of water. MK Ultra, and Bill Maher's like 65, you know, getting jerked off by black hookers. If you don't get that joke, look into it. It's very funny. He loves black hookers. Which I get it. If I had Bill Maher money, I might crack open a few black hookers. But like he was like, "What's MK Ultra?" And I go, "Dude, are you serious? You've made it that late into being a political guy, and you've never heard it." Like just makes me go like, "Are you not? You're not a serious person. You're not a serious person. That if that's how you like, you got this late into political conversations, and like it's just, you know what I mean? It's like being like, I'm a huge fan of punk rock, and then someone was like, "Have you ever heard of the Buzzcocks?" And they're like, "No, who is that?" But like being like, "Oh, I've been the punk rock guy since my 20s." And you're like, "Who's the Buzzcocks?" And he's like, "I've never heard of them." You're like, "What?" I don't know if you're a punk rock guy then. You know what I mean? Like, if you're new to punk rock, I don't expect you to know the Buzzcocks. But if you've been commentating about punk rock since your fucking 20s or however old he started, and you're just like, "What's MK Ultra?" It's like, are you a CIA asset? Like, are you stupid? So like, I almost am hesitant at times to like overly defend Bill Maher. But then on the flip side, when you see that when you see that um it's so funny. He's a house end. He knows me. He knows MK Ultra. He's just a shill. Well, that's the clip from fucking um it's the clip from a show a while ago. But yeah, so that's why like with Bill Maher. Wait, let me pull it up. That's why like with Bill Maher. Yeah, here. I think this is it.
That's my.
No wonder I don't remember this.
No shit, you blocked it out, MK Ultra.
Why don't I hear any sound? Hello. Am I crazy?
What came out? We didn't go into Egypt.
What the fuck? Wait, why am I getting no sound from this? What the hell? Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. Audio. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, man. Not knowing MK Ultra sound was coming through stream. Oh, it was? That's weird. I wasn't hearing it. Hello. Yeah, I'm hearing that. Why am I not hearing this? Let me double check something real quick. I'll get back to the Chappelle thing in 1 second. Huh. Why am I not hearing audio? I just pulled up YouTube and I can't hear audio. Huh. That's really weird. All right. Sorry about. Oh, wait a minute. Why is my fucking. Huh. My shit was muted for some. There we go. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. My audio on my computer was muted for some reason. There, yeah. Where's the fucking? It just popped up. It's crazy. You type Bill Maher MK Ultra and just nothing pops up. Bill Maher MK Ultra. Roseanne is such an insufferable cunt. Yeah, Roseanne rules. Bro, if you're looking to Roseanne for your political opinions, keep them moving. Roseanne fucking rules. Here we go. I was gonna say the clip just popped up, and now I can't find it. Here we go.
No wonder I don't remember
God damn it.
this.
No shit, you blocked it out, MK Ultra.
Who's that?
That's the mind control program you're under, Bill.
MK Ultra?
Yeah.
So who's Klaus Schwab?
The head of the WEF.
What's that?
Google it.
Yeah, he might. I gotta be honest. The way it's like, dude, you know what that fucking is. You really don't know what that is? That's crazy. But anyway, that's all. God damn. Sorry, my Twitter's trying to make me very distracted. Because Rihanna just posted 4 pictures of her and her with her titties out. Not like out, but her titties looking real fat. I'll get back to the Chappelle thing in 1 second. Guys, if you're watching on Twitch, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It would be super sick if you did that. I would really appreciate it. That'd be cool. And also, if you're not over there, please consider going over to YouTube if that is your bag. If you're on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, hey, come on, give me a break, Dunbar. I'm shocked Andy got distracted. Bro, I'm literally scrolling. Brother. I'm literally looking I'm looking up Bill Maher on Twitter, and then these fucking hammers just pop up. Just absolute. You don't get distracted by her and her beautiful baby. Like, goddamn, 5head's still hotter than shit. Get off my dick, Dunbar. That ain't for riding. But yeah, over there, YouTube, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, no. Roseanne's got some terrible opinions. I love Roseanne. She made one of the best. She made one of the greatest shows. Yes, man, Slav, you're a homosexual, Slav. You are a homosexual. That's why you love Fuentes, because you're secretly gay like that little Mexican. She said if America doesn't support Israel, she said if America doesn't support Israel, America will fall. Fuck that dumb bitch. Yeah, I'm not sitting here being like, yo, I'm not sitting here being like, yo, Roseanne's got the greatest opinions and shit like that. Oh yeah. Chris Brown joke. All right, that's fair. It wasn't a very good joke, but I get the logic behind it. But she said if America doesn't support Israel, America will fall. Fuck that dumb bitch. Yes, I don't sit here and get behind too many of Roseanne's opinions, but I don't know. You make one of the greatest shows ever. Like legitimately, Roseanne is one of the greatest shows ever made. You know what I mean? It still fucking holds up. It still fucking rips. It's still a fucking good time over there. Roseanne fucking rules. But yeah, here, wait. Let me change the title to the stream real quick. I forgot to do that yesterday. I'm doing it today. I've been really interested in a lot of this. I'm gonna finish my Chappelle thought, and then we'll probably talk about like Venezuela or some shit because I've been really intrigued with all this Venezuela shit some more. My first move though is to learn how to spell Venezuela for the first time, right? All right. So, okay, we're back. We're back. We're talking shit. This is very fun. Thank you for everyone hanging out in here. Actually, I should post this link in the fucking. Let me post it in the Discord. Get some fucking people in here. You know what the fucking deal is. You know what the fucking deal is. Thank you for everyone hanging out. If you're listening to this in the future, it's much better on stream. It's much better live. It's a much better, gooder time. It's a much better, gooder time on stream because you're in the moment and it feels more natural. And you just get to ask the red man some stuff. And then there is a chance I might call you a slur or I might get angry. Actually, I was gonna say, and then and you get to hear the slurs live, but it's like I didn't edit them out. I didn't edit them out. Oh, but anyway, so like my last thing, with Chappelle, because the clip that was going around, oh yeah, here we go. Here's the clip. I'll just play the clip.
19 years old, and I've never said this.
That I'll be honest, that annoyed me a little bit too, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the like, you know, I don't know. I feel awkward. Just I'm not trying to like critique Chappelle, but like even that like smug cracker ass, I go like, okay, you just kind of, you know what I mean? It just goes hand in hand with the you know, sort of like the lack of what am I trying to say? Just like the lack of like the lack of substance to the argument within the joke. And honestly, like it's not even like an aggressive joke. It's more of like it's a very clapter joke and stuff like that. So just with the like I guess what I'm trying to say is like it lacks substance and more is like a personal thing, and then it's like you're doing it in a realm where you know everyone's gonna like applaud you and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And again, I feel uncomfortable doing this because like Chappelle is the fucking man, but like it's just like I would respect the Saudi shit more if they just were like, "Hey man, I was curious," and or if they just didn't even bother trying to defend it. But it's the actual like it's like people getting mad. It's like you're getting mad that people are getting mad at you for a fair reason. But you're like, you don't want to say how you actually feel, so you're dancing around it doing other things. So that's why you're being like, man, it's like, bro, we all know, like, that's the other part of it too. It's like, bro, we all know Bill Maher's gay as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, we all know he's gay as fuck. And I don't know Chappelle. I don't know Chappelle's principles. I mean, like, he does try to be politically conscious and, you know, on the right side of things. And I got to be honest, if I were just a betting man, I'd be like, you probably did. Like, if we want to get technical, like, you probably did. Like, that's just like, it's just not a strong argument. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like you could like transpose that to literally anything. You know what I mean? Saudi is so much worse than Israel or Iran. Well, that's the irony too. I was thinking about this because literally that Ian Carroll kid. Sorry, Ian Carroll kid. That's really rude. Ian Carroll's dope. I mean to fucking also me with 10 people, and I appreciate all 10. But it's so fun. That's so funny. I'm such a cunt. But no, like just that logic. It's like, I mean, you could do it. You could do it with like anything. You know what I mean? Like if you were at work and you got caught stealing $100 from the register, and then you'd be like, "Oh, you're mad at me for stealing $100?" Well, fucking Tony steals $20 he's been stealing $20 every day for the past 5 months. So if you really do the math, he works 5 days a week. That's $400 a month. $400 a month times 5, that's like $2,000, whatever the fuck it is. Hopefully that math's right. You know what I mean? That's like, and you're like, so he's like way worse than me, and you're like, that's true. And I'm glad you brought that to my attention. And we will take care of Tony. He will get fired. We'll get the money back. That's fair. Also, you still can't steal $100. You know what I mean? It's just like by the pure logic, but you're like, yeah, but like this one's worse and you didn't say anything about it. Which, I mean, that also too is like, oh, you're mad at like, so the idea as well that someone would be like, I don't think it's good you go to Saudi Arabia. And then you were like, oh, but you got nothing to say about Israel. I got to imagine that person has something to say about Israel. You know what I mean? And also too, it's like, it's just like false parameters or whatever you want to call it. Just this idea that it's like with the Israel thing, it's like, yeah, man, it's just about Jamal Khashoggi. It's just about Jamal Khashoggi. But that, you know, honestly, though, this is, if I can compliment Chappelle, because it is at the end of the, like, my whole thing at the end of the day is like, bro, go to Saudi. Like, get your money. All of these governments are the bad guys. Like, all of them. Like, we're just pawns. Like, all the governments are just dudes playing Warhammers, and we're the little figurines getting pushed around the map. Like, if they feel generous and want to give you a couple $1,000,000, you know what I mean? Like, legitimately, I don't view someone performing for Saudi princes any worse than I view like Stephen Colbert doing the president's correspondence dinner. Legitimately. And I say that I don't like, they're all blood-soaked monsters who are probably demons or lizard people or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? They're all demons. I don't so, but it's like, you know, to create like I just own it, man. That's why I say to like all the dudes defending, like Bill Burr and Louis, and I still love these comedians and shit. Like Louis still the fucking best. Bill Burr's still the fucking best. Chappelle's still the fucking best. Because it's like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, get your money from the demons. Who gives a shit, man? Who gives a shit? Just stop being like, you know, they're not actually that bad at demons. You're like, yeah, they are. They are. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's but then to just be like, to boil it down to be like, oh, you're mad because they killed Khashoggi. Well, I don't hear you talking about Israel. Well, that's just, I mean, those parameters are just made up. You know, like pushing people into into that paradigm is just made up, man. That's just a made up thing you did. That's not real. Oh, you must not care. Like, come on, man. I don't care. Get your money, Chappelle. You're the fucking, I'm literally wearing your beanie. I think I got your lighter within reach. I don't like, yeah, literally. I got your lighter. I'm a Chappelle fan, dude. I just watched the Wayne Brady sketch. Wayne Brady sketch got to be one of the funniest pieces of media ever created. And you know what's funny too? I don't know if like it was just made for us. It was just made for us, me and my generation. Because I don't know if kids these days can actually appreciate the Wayne Brady sketch. And I don't know if people older than me could actually appreciate the Wayne Brady sketch. Like, it's just for people in this like 20, like obviously there's a huge chunk of people that can appreciate it, when it came out. But still, like, kids these days, I don't know if they could fully appreciate the Wayne Brady sketch. I don't know if they could fully appreciate it. And it's like easily it's easily like one of the greatest fucking things ever made. So it's all love to Chappelle. I'm just here to, you guys know me. I'm just here to talk about bad arguments. Yeah, because that's why I do feel uncomfortable. I don't want it to come off like I'm talking shit on Chappelle. I don't want to. I don't want, because it's like big fan. Haven't really watched a special in a minute. Don't care to watch. Don't care to watch some guy drop knowledge on me. I listen to podcasts. It's okay, Chappelle, but big fan. Just, I don't know. Go back to being silly, dude. I don't know how much that's too much about Chappelle. Anyway, we talk about one, the one he did at his old school. Chappelle's cool. Chappelle earned it. Chappelle's allowed to say whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, everyone's allowed to say whatever the fuck they want to say. I don't know. It is just funny. It's like, no hate on Chappelle. No hate whatsoever. People do get very scared to criticize Chappelle. I don't know. Hopefully, if I ever meet him, I have the same energy. That's also my worry. Like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to, like, I mean, I don't want to talk shit in general. Like, I literally don't have it in me. Like, I've been critical of like Louis and Burr and Chappelle and all that, but they meant so much to me as a kid. I could never like be like, yo, fuck these guys. Like that. Nah, bro, never. That's that. I guess that's the part of me getting uncomfortable about it. It's just, I'm like, these dudes meant so much to me. These dudes meant so much to me when I was a kid. So it's like weird criticizing them, but it's just, shit sticks in my craw and I got to talk about it. But anyway, Burr's Immoral Compass. Is that a special? It's like a comedy Black Mirror. Wait, what'd you type out? This is a really good way to put it. Chappelle, yeah, he's one of the goats, but he has shit takes all the time. Yeah. Like that's my thing with Chappelle. Not great takes. And his good takes are like, yeah, man, we talked about that already. Still one of the best still one of the best comedians and orators of all time. And it's like, yeah. What's Immoral? Oh, Immoral Compass is a sketch thing. I'll have to check that out. All right, I wanted to look at this. I will talk about Venezuela. I know I called the video war in Venezuela because I was planning on getting to that earlier, but you know what it is too. I hate that Chappelle created Don. That's so funny. Nah, Donald Rollins is hilarious. He gets people really mad, but he cracks me the fuck up. Now I wanted to look at this because apparently I didn't fully watch this, but apparently like the Daily Wire's doing like the gayest shit ever. Like it's crazy. You see it with, well, I don't know. This actually what I'm about to talk about kind of goes into a thing I've been thinking about where like a lot of people will be like, Venezuela is a distraction from the Epstein files. And you're like, what do you mean? What do you like? Well, the Epstein files came out and they want you to not think about that. Well, first off, everyone's going to like everyone who does this shit is going to think about it constantly. Like, sure, maybe the public might not, but honestly, the way it's in the zeitgeist, you know what I mean? Like I see kids on the timeline making TikToks where they're like, it's like those relationship TikToks where it's like, who is, put a finger, or it'll be a thing where it's like cover your eyes and it's like who gets hangry more often, and then they point at, well, I guess they don't cover their eyes, but they point at each other and they're like, who is the first to make a move, and then like they point at who they think, and then sometimes they point at each other and they're like, wait, what? And I saw like a kid, which honestly, fucking hilarious. I saw a kid doing that with a Jeffrey Epstein cutout. And it's like, yeah, I don't think the Epstein thing's going away. And then on top of that, you're just like, what does it matter? When has it mattered that we care? You know, it's like, yeah, they go about it a certain type of way, but I gotta be like depending on public opinion, they'll go about things a certain type of way. But like very rarely, I know I've brought up the example of stuff like when they tried COVID passports and they like implemented COVID passport. They were trying to like slow roll COVID passports and people were like, yeah, what the fuck is this? Like, but even with that one, you're like, they're going to bring it back. They're just going to figure out how to do it in a way that people just do it. Because that's what they do with the control and the spying and all that. They figure out a way that they do it where you're just like, oh yeah, this is just what it is. And like people like that's because that's the thing. It's like they're gonna do the thing no matter what. And they're gonna do the thing no matter what. You know, so it's like on one degree, it is a thing of like, who cares how we feel about it? But then at the same time, wait, why did I go? God damn it. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I got very sidetracked to what I was gonna say. What was I gonna say with the fucking Candace Owens thing? Oh, yeah. So there is like a thing of like, who cares? But then at the same time, so like when you see stuff like this, you go like, hey man, do you not? This reminds me of like when you go to Walmart and you see a couple wearing like matching Cookie Monster pajama pants. Like I actually saw that one time. It wasn't Cookie Monster. I forget what it was, but literally the girl had on pants and the guy had on like a blanket and I'm like, they went to it with their matching Cookie Monster pajama things. And it's like, whenever I see people like that, I always just go like, hey man, do you know what we say about you? Do you not know? And it's like, it's the same thing and I haven't watched this yet, but I saw what people were saying about it. So I'm really curious about this. But just from the description I've seen, you look at this and you're like, hey man, do you have like zero self-awareness at all? Because apparently what we got here is, so if you guys don't know, Candace Owens used to work for the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's show, Ben Shapiro's network or whatever, website, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Candace Owens used to work for the Daily Wire. October 7th happened. Candace Owens, a new mother. And honestly, I feel like this may have happened without being a new mother, but she, saw videos of Palestinian babies getting exploded. I think she might have seen that one video a lot of us saw where you're like, oh, is that the inside of a Palestinian kid's head? That's the worst thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. And she went, hey, I don't know if we should be blowing up Palestinian children the way we are. And Ben Shapiro said, you anti-Semitic black bitch, fuck you. You're out of here. So yeah, that's kind of how it went. Candace Owens was like, hey man, all this murdering baby shit's a little bit crazy. And then, obviously that was the moment Ben Shapiro realized she was anti-Semitic. So he said, get out of here, you black bitch. So yeah. But the thing, so she used to do Candace Owens' podcast on the Daily Wire. And she left, and now her show is just called Candace or something. And it's like the biggest show ever, which, by the way, everyone's always like, they're trying to do the bullshit with her with like, she's capitalizing on the Charlie Kirk assassination, blah, 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 which I've said it before. Yeah, no, she's capitalizing on it. The people who haven't stopped the people who haven't stopped or bare minimum changed the name of the dead guy show, they're not taking advantage of Charlie Kirk's death. It's the friend that thinks the government killed her or Israel killed him. I mean, and it's like, yeah, what a crazy theory she has. No one else thought that the second it happened. And then afterwards, there hasn't been evidence pushing us in that direction. You know what I mean? You know, all those people who ever since that day, they've been trying to not want it to be that. And every single time you get a new bit of information, it only pushes you to that direction. Yes, there's no proof, but come on, man. You know that one, that crazy bitch? Yeah, she started a new show. And it really is like, it really was like on some fucking Shane shit where Shane gets canceled from SNL. And then like it was really because that's really where I think because that was a big part of like besides obviously Shane being very, very fucking funny. It also he has that like fucking yeah, dude, you tried to hold him down? You tried to hold the dog down? Like that's the other part that just makes it like that makes it fun for people to get behind Shane. Pause. But it's the same thing as Candace. It's like she's like from a political context, it's like very similar. Where it's like, oh, she had this like big conservative establishment behind her trying to like fuck her shit up. And then it's just, you know, after all that happens, it just makes it more fun to fucking fuck with Candace Owens. You know what I mean? I've said it before. I don't even watch her show that regularly. I did a lot. I was watching a bunch after Charlie Kirk got shot. But you know, I'm not a big fan of her style. I think Candace Owens is great and smart and really interesting. And she has a lot of good stuff to say, but her podcast itself is very drama heavy. But anyway, that was a side quest on her views. It's just people always go like, you know, people always like call bullshit on that. And I go, I don't know, man. I think people just get fucking juiced up over her whole fucking thing right now. But anyway, so apparently, but now she does Candace. So now she does Candace, but the Daily Wire still owns the Candace Owens podcast, like that, you know, intellectual property. So they, I guess, started, and now I haven't seen this yet, but I saw people describing it. Apparently, they started a show where now they're just gonna like watch Candace Owens' podcast and call her fucking gay. And I'm like, that's got to be the saddest shit I've ever seen. So let's watch this trailer real quick.
Are we good, guys? Are we rolling? In this age of propaganda and media has done a really good job of creating a caricature of Candace Owens. What's going to be different about Candace at the Daily Wire? The timing right now is really crucial to stand up on a platform and to say, I'm here, I'm a conservative, I'm not apologizing. I'm really committed to changing things. I have the courage to stand by my convictions and genuinely believe in the importance of challenging ideas and the importance of debate, and that's why I'm really excited to join the Daily Wire team. This show is going to be uplifting, funny, political. This show is going to be all of the pieces of me.
Wait, what? So they just is that this year? Premieres March 19th. Yeah, they posted this on the 5th. So, wait, what? I'm so confused. What do they got here?
From when I was joining the Daily Wire, clearly.
Oh, okay. Here's her talking about it. Here, we'll get more context here. All right. Sorry about that, guys. You know what? Maybe in the future, I watch things before I bring them up.
The Daily Wire had brought back my old YouTube channel. And as you could see, they premiered an old trailer from when I was joining the Daily Wire. Clearly, they're trying to get attention for something. And I can tell you what that.
God, this is so fucking weird. This is so, like, whatever it is. Okay, so to be fair, I don't know specifically what it is. But the joke I made earlier where it's like they're going to watch Candace Owens to call her gay, it's like there's something in the realm of that. But honestly, even though I was a little like off base on my assumptions, whatever's going on, feels like it's going to be incredibly gay.
Something is. I love scooping people when they're just being weird. In a normal world, your employer, if they fire you, that should be the last you hear of them. I said, I genuinely feel like when you break up with someone and you have a crazy ex, that was how it felt like being fired from the Daily Wire. And I truly am not trying to be dramatic here. It felt like a crazy ex-stalker. Like, if I can't have you, nobody can have you. It turns out the reason they're doing this and doing it on my channel is because they are trying to hard launch a young woman named Madison Bransford. Okay. Now she's apparently an intern at the Daily Wire.
God, this, by the way, is why Candace is she's so good at what she does. Because it's like, they specifically were like, this is why she's good at the like petty shit. Because they were like specifically like, get that picture of her at Disney looking like a dumbass. And there's a little part of me that does respect that.
And they're basically dropping like an iCarly type Nickelodeon feel show where she's gonna make fun of me, and the show
Okay, so I was right
is entitled In the No because apparently they watch every second of my show, which they've been doing for a very long time. And so now, because they still can't let me go, and since Ben is now on.
Oh yeah, and that's what Candace and I think I texted my wife about that. She has some shirts. It says something like, "We don't know no, but we know no." Well, let me look that up. Do I come off like a huge dork right now? I'm not trying to simp for Candace Owens. I just, because no, I don't always, like, I don't watch the show, but like when I see clips of her at times, I go like, hell yeah, dude.
Stage bringing me up and saying, we don't know, no, but we know. Like, it's giving crazy ex-stalker. They're now launching a show with this girl. I'm sure she's a lovely human being. It's basically like they tried to find someone that's similar to Brett, but it's not at all because it's not mature. And she's just going to make fun of this show. So that's what the Daily Wire has in store. I'm sorry to have scooped you on this new.
So to be fair, if we can be fair, like, I mean, that's a lot of shit in general. Dunbar, you're nasty. You're a nasty fucker. Don't worry, Andy. We know you don't have to try. I'll be honest. Hey, what up? I don't feel like saying your username. How you doing, bro? You're nasty, Dunbar. You're so nasty. What the fuck was I trying to say? Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. To be fair, like, I even know like Tom Woods. If you guys don't know Tom Woods, I was talking about his podcast the other day. If you don't know Tom Woods, check it out. Great libertarian, very informative podcast, very smart man. Him and this economist, Bob Murphy, who also rips, they used to have a show called Contra Krugman. And they would basically every week pull up Paul Krugman's latest article, who he is a Keynesian economist. Bob Murphy is a Austrian economist. And if you know anything about economics, Keynesian economics, very stupid and very bad. So there was an immense value in these two. I guess Tom Woods is Austrian. Yeah, he would be an Austrian economics. He's more of a historian, but he agrees with Austrian economy. And but Bob Murphy is specifically an economist. But anyway, they would read through his article and be like, this is stupid, this is stupid, this is wrong, this is wrong. And it like honestly was like I listened to it occasionally. It was like a good tool and it was like an interesting, perspective, and it was very useful. So the whole idea of making a show, like the whole idea of making a show based around debunking another show isn't on its face necessarily bad, but when it's the context of like Candace Owens, where like I was saying before, like with a lot, like you don't have to like Candace Owens. And I've been making this point for a while. And I even listened to shout out my man Austin Way Picard, which I just remembered this. I'm gonna re-upload. Tucker put out that dope Vegas shooting episode with Ian Carroll. I just listened to like most of it yesterday. It's very good, but I'm just laughing listening to it, being like, bro, you think this is good? My man Austin goes, like, it's just funny. Like, it's funny that you now have like it's almost like the network it's like like Ian Carroll's dope, and I think he's really good at organizing shit. But it's like, my man, that's Big Bang Theory, bro. I got fucking whatever the gritty FX show is right now. You know what I mean? I got Breaking Bad over here with Austin. That's all I'm trying to say. Maybe, you know what? Big Bang Theory is not fair for Ian Carroll. He's like CSI Miami or like Law and Order, something like that. And it's like, yeah, my guy, I got fucking the Jeffrey Dahmer show over here, or I got fucking Breaking Bad. You know what I mean? So I'm going to re-upload that because I think that his Vegas shooting episode is pretty sick. I will give Ian Carroll a lot of credit because people think he's like a Fed and shit. And I don't think he's a Fed. I don't know if he's a Fed, but he doesn't always come to the greatest conclusions. But by God, is that boy good at organizing information and explaining it in a clear way. Like, he's really good at organizing timelines and explaining them very clearly. And I think that is a great asset. But yeah, my thing with Candace is always like, what are you saying here? Yes, Cellrat, it was a dope Vegas shooting episode. That is a true statement. It was the dopest. It was a dope ass Vegas shooting episode. Ian Carroll's conclusion is the same thing people were saying in conspiracy circles right after it happened. Still a great summary though. Yeah, no, that's what I realized. That's what I was listening to that podcast, and it's a great podcast. It's very informative. But then, like, when Ian Carroll, because I watched videos of Ian Carroll before, and it was just like he was like, he'd do this long whole thing about government corruption, and then like the conclusion would basically amount to we got to get the right people in there. And you're like, okay, he's good at organizing the information, he's just not good at like extrapolating what needs to be extrapolated from it. And it's like, all right, he's still an amazing resource in what he does. And I will say, I think he pretends to not have a team helping him out. Unless he's just snorting Adderall all day and just like that's all he works on. But it's like the way he organized, I'm like, you have to have a team. You're not telling us. Anyway, that was my only gripe with the dude. But yeah, it was, and like I'm listening to one part of the Vegas shooting episode, and he's like, well, CIA agents would never murder U.S. citizens. And I go like, okay, you know, maybe not CIA agents specifically, but like you're telling me no, like there's all these spooky dark, it's like you're telling me they're going to go over to other countries and just bomb people by the hundreds of thousands or if not millions. But you know, a couple people at a country music festival, you know, give it up to a black ops group or whatever these fucking groups are. You know what I mean? You're demonic people covering for pedophiles, but you know, murdering a bunch of people at a country music festival that's too far. Like, you know, like, so he still comes to like normie conclusions, but at the end of the day, he's providing an invaluable service. And I tip my hat to the man. But no, it's I got a little sidetracked. My thing with Candace is like, if you strip away, you know, all the superficial stuff, because it's like, I gotta be honest, people, because maybe I gotta look more into it, but it's like I don't know what the thing is where it's like, oh, here's that thing Candace Owens got catastrophically wrong that like destroys her credibility. Now she might be a little flippant, but I ain't gonna I don't know, man. I was on here saying fucking Luigi Mangioni's a patsy, and I wasn't really doing the deep dive I wasn't really working hard to back that up with anything. It just felt right. So I'm not gonna criticize someone too much for that. My whole thing all the time with Candace Owens is like, if you strip away the superficial stuff, you're like, you don't have a lot on her of like where she's just catastrophically wrong. You know what I mean? You might be able to question her tactics, but like, you know, at the end of the day, most people just like, I think most people just want to be like, yo, she's just an annoying cunt, which is like, yeah, just say that then. Fucking Tim Pool said that. You know what I mean? Tim Pool had the balls to say that. And from one beanie bro to another, dude. Respect, Tim. You called this black lady a cunt, dude. Respect. I'm just kidding. But that's my whole. I've been bringing it up before. It's like my whole thing with Candace Owens. It's like they can't hit her on like, oh, what's the crazy thing she got wrong? They just hit her on like, yeah, she's just a stupid bitch. You know? And that's why this show's just gonna be sad and pointless. And you're like, I feel bad for whoever that girl was. You're setting her up for failure. Her first intro into the political world is doing the fucking like just being the host of the saddest show ever.
Brilliant idea to hard launch something on my socials of somebody making fun of me. I'm sure you thought that was going to get some like huge applaud. It's weird. It makes me uncomfortable, if I'm being frank. I'd like you guys to move on. I understand now. You're never going to stop. This is just what we are. You're forever going to obsess about everything that I'm doing. I think it's a bad idea. I would kill it if I were you guys, but I see that you've already made a significant investment. And I hope it works out. I hope a person dedicated to making fun of me in the know, I hope it works out for young Maddie.
Yeah. And yeah, it's very sad. Very sad. Oh, but this was the t-shirt I was talking about. I mean, I'm not going to buy that, but I just love we don't know, but we know. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I've been there, bro. Cause like people shit on that and you're like, bro, that's how it is half the time. We don't know, but we fucking know, dude. Yeah, man, that looks like it sucks ass and it's going to be bad. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick little break. Let me find some, because I just want to get another cup of coffee. And I want to get hydrated. Bro, can you guys do me a huge favor? Can you guys all out there do me a huge favor? Stay hydrated. Stay fucking hydrated. Dude, it was crazy. Last night we were playing Munchkins, and I was getting so fucking out of it and cranky and angry. And then I just was like, because at first I was like, oh, I'm tired. Let me get a soda. Maybe I need a little caffeine boost. And then I was like, I have been drinking a lot. Maybe I need a beer. And then I'm like, no, I still feel like shit. What else could I get? What else could I need? And I was like, oh, maybe the Earth's most nourishing nectar of all, ice cold water. And I drank a little bit of water. I drank 2 glasses of water. Bro, I don't know what they put in that shit, but I got right back at it. It was actually like crazy. I felt so embarrassed. I was like, I'm too old to be this stupid, man. I'm too old to be this stupid. It's crazy. I'm much too old to be this fucking stupid, to just be like, oh yeah, water is the thing I forgot to do. But anyway, let's pull up that. Actually, we can pull up that Route 91. Nah, you know what? Oh shit. Whole ass documentary. I'm gonna have to watch that. But yeah, I drank a little bit of water. And it was nice. All right, I'm gonna go get some more water. And then hey, look at that. New lemon party. Let's go. What should I pull up? I'll just pull up news stuff to keep you guys out keep you guys occupied. Damn, there's so much good information on the internet. Here we go. This will keep you guys occupied.
Holidays, and Lucas, you've had great coverage overnight here. What else are we learning about this operation?
Fresh tensions in Venezuela as overnight gunfire rang out in Caracas. Two White House officials tell NBC News the administration is closely tracking the situation and the U.S. was not involved. While in the U.S., Venezuela's deposed authoritarian leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores pleading not guilty to federal drug and weapons charges. Maduro saying in a New York courtroom that he's still the constitutional president of Venezuela, calling himself a prisoner of war. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi defending the Trump administration's move to capture and remove Maduro, accusing him of bringing tons of drugs into the U.S.
This was well within the president's Article 2 powers. It was a law enforcement function to arrest indicted individuals in Venezuela.
President Trump has repeatedly said the U.S. is now in charge in Venezuela, even as interim president and Maduro loyalist Delcy Rodriguez was formally sworn in. While in an exclusive interview with NBC's Kristen Welker, President Trump asserted the U.S. is at war with people that sell drugs, not with Venezuela, as Democrats slam the administration for acting without congressional approval.
It was military action, not a law enforcement action.
Republican leadership defending the use of force after a classified briefing for the Gang of Eight top congressional leaders.
The administration is acting consistent with the law, and that's what we discussed in the room tonight.
President Trump telling NBC News the U.S. may reimburse oil companies that help rebuild Venezuelan infrastructure, aiming for expanded oil operations within 18 months.
We are watching President Trump speaking to House Republicans at the Kennedy Center in Washington. The president touted the U.S. operation that led to the capture of Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, calling it an amazing military feat. He also criticized congressional Democrats who condemned it as an illegal and dangerous action. Let's bring in ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill and senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez for more. Jay, what are you hearing from lawmakers about the operation in Venezuela, and what do you expect in terms of a reaction to this speech?
Well, look, there are still some lingering questions, Diane, despite the fact that the president just briefly mentioned Venezuela there. He touted the operation to capture Maduro, which militarily was a success, but leads to a host of other questions that some lawmakers feel they don't yet have full answers to, which is what is next for Venezuela? Some top congressional leaders started to get answers to those questions last night. There was a Gang of Eight briefing and other top leaders as well. The Gang of Eight are the leaders of the Senate and the House of both parties, as well as the top Republicans and Democrats on the intelligence committees. You also have the top Republican and Democrat on the Foreign Affairs Committee in the House, the Foreign Relations Committee in the Senate. The list goes on and on and on. They got a behind closed doors briefing from senior administration officials last night. And one of the things that emerged from that briefing from the lawmakers I talked to is this understanding that at present, the administration is going to maintain in some form or fashion current officials of the Maduro regime, of the former Maduro regime, in power there. So the former vice president, now the acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, according to what lawmakers who emerged from that room said, it's their understanding that the administration plans to keep her in power and try to eventually move to some kind of a transition where there will be elections held in Venezuela, but there's no real timeline that the administration has given for that. There are some broader questions and some serious concerns, particularly from Democrats that you mentioned, saying that Congress did not authorize any kind of military action in Venezuela. And so in the view of some Democrats, this action to capture Maduro was illegal because there wasn't a congressional authorization for the use of military force. What the administration told congressional leaders last night, what they've been saying for the last few days and weeks here, which is in their view, this is a law enforcement operation, not a military action, and therefore they didn't need congressional authorization. That's setting aside the fact that this was a law enforcement operation, in the words of the administration, that used F-22 and F-35 fighter jets, right? The military was integral to capturing Maduro, but nonetheless, that's the argument the administration has been making to lawmakers who make a stink about the lack of congressional authorization here.
And Louis, how are Venezuelan leaders responding to all of this?
Well, Dan, what we've seen ever since this raid took place on Saturday is a very defiant tone from Venezuelan leadership, particularly Delcy Rodriguez, who is the new acting president of Venezuela, and since Nicolas Maduro has been transferred and captured to the United States. It has been a defiant tone from the interior minister, from the defense minister, you name it. Any senior Venezuelan official has been defiant about standing up to the United States, and particularly this, the concept that is proposed by President Trump that it is the United States that is in charge, that is calling the shots in Venezuela. But again, we've heard clarifications from Secretary of State Marco Rubio and others. But what we're talking about here is the United States exerting pressure through some of the levers that they have, namely that this quarantine, this blockade, as the administration is calling it, of sanctioned oil tankers that were in Venezuelan waters and have apparently moved over the last 2 days. But again, it's the levers and how they can control and work with the new administration that is being headed by Rodriguez. You've heard the different characterizations from the president about how the United States can work with Rodriguez. And one of the things that he has said, he's taken a very vocal tone himself, saying essentially that unless she cooperates with the United States, she will pay a fuller price than what Nicolas Maduro has done by being captured in the United States. It's unclear exactly what he means by that. But what we've seen still is this defiance from Venezuelan officials saying that they are a sovereign nation and that what the United States has done is illegal.
All right, Jay O'Brien, Louis Martinez, thank you both.
God bless the USA.
Thank you very much. I do love that song, but we got to get to business. I love that song, but I want to thank you all. You're special, special people. And I want to just say that, I announced I was coming over here, and I said, I love those Republicans, and I meant it. I said, except for maybe a couple.
Shut up. But anyway, so we are back. I have coffee. I spilled a shit ton of coffee. I'm a messy boy. I get annoyed. I get annoyed with my wife when she's like on my ass and expects the worst, and then I oblige her concerns. But anyway, actually, let me start here, because I was reading this article. Oh no, it was on Google News. That's right. I was reading this article, and let me send this to myself. Yeah, let me just I'm not good at planning ahead. That's why they're loose streams. Hell yeah. Can I send stuff to myself on here? Let's go. Wait, but how does that pop up on Instagram if I just send it to myself? Do I get a notification from myself? Here we go. By the way, the last time I sent something to myself was May 17th, 2022, and it's this picture of Gardini. So look at that. Look at that. That's just in my DMs. Shout out Guard Dog. But yeah, it was this article. There was another article, actually, because I think I was on antiwar.com. Shout out antiwar.com. Great shit over there. No, not Mises. Mises is a good website, but it's not. I think it was this one. Was it this one? Joe tells me how Cortez innocent. I think it's this one, actually. Yeah. Let me send this one to myself. Yes, because sorry guys, you know me. Big Red needs a whole ass jumping off point. But can we catch the Jewish broad? What are you guys talking about? That picture is something they post when searching for a shooting suspect. Yeah, they should start doing that. Post that picture of Gardini whenever a school shooting happens or a mass shooting happens. You should make a redeem that doesn't do anything and make it like 100K so we can waste our points. Oh, on the Twitch? Yeah, I don't know what any of that shit is. Bro, what do you think about the traumatization song I sent you? The homies got their first show coming up late this month. Oh yeah, that shit was sick. Yeah, I was listening to a little bit of that. I forget if I forget where I listened to it. I think I was like listening to it on the phone, and I wanted to bump it in the car, but no, I fucked with it because it it had that like deathcore vibe that I actually like. Because I don't listen to deathcore as much as I do like hardcore and shit like that, but it had that it had that like deathcore vibe that I fuck with. So that's why I was telling you, dude, hit me up when they put out the album. And I want to listen to that shit. Sorry, I'm reading these comments as well as talking. I should do one or the other. No, yeah, hit me up when that album comes out because that shit was fun. Channel points are gay. It's cooler to not care about them, man. I just don't know what they. I don't care about all the little Twitch things. You know what I mean? Because like I realized this when I first started doing Twitch is you can really just become like, you really can just become a pay pig right away. And I found myself venturing into those areas, and then I started to realize like, oh, I'm just going to become a pay pig. I don't want to do that. I want to just do a show. You know what I mean? So like all these like little extra Twitch features, I just go like, hey man, if you just like it, just send me money. I know I should remind people, bits. Send me bits. Send me bits. But yes, let's pull this up real quick. Maduro tells, let's do it this way. Looks better this way. And again, yeah, go to antiwar.com. They have the best reporting on all this stuff. Maduro tells Manhattan court that he's innocent of U.S. charges and still the president of Venezuela. Maduro's wife, Celia Flores, also attended the hearing and appeared to have been injured during the U.S. raid. 2 days after being abducted by U.S. forces during a U.S. attack on Caracas, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro appeared before a U.S. federal judge in Manhattan on Monday and said he was still Venezuela's rightful leader. I'm innocent. I'm not guilty, Maduro told Judge Alvin K. Hellerstein, early line, no, who is 92. I gotta be honest. Like when you have the sentence, this is just I'm not trying to grab some overarching conspiracy. That always popped out. Who is 92? That shouldn't, when someone says who is 92, it shouldn't be after right. It shouldn't be right after they told you that you do a job. Don't do that. Like if you're 92, go eat pudding and fucking fart, man. Go eat pudding and crap your pants. You should. And then it's like, oh, he's a judge figuring out if the president of the dictator of Venezuela, it's like, did something illegal. It's like that's a crazy one. I'm a decent man. I'm still president of my country. The Venezuelan leader also said he was a prisoner of war. Maduro's wife, Celia Flores, also appeared before Hellerstein and appeared to have been injured during the U.S. raid, based on reports by New York Times. In court, Celia Flores wore a bandage. If this actions were constitutionally sound, no, fuck. This wasn't the article I wanted to read. I'm sorry, guys. No, there was one. My bad, guys. I don't know if I found. Is it this one? Was this the article I just read? Yeah, that's the article I just read. Was it this one? I think it was this one. After Trump threat, Venezuela's acting president calls for cooperation with the U.S. Venezuela's acting president. No. Wait, where's the fucking article where they say what they were charged with? Oh, yeah. Here it is. Okay, let's back up because this was the article that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, it was, they were talking about bringing him to court. Maduro says he's innocent. Celia's like, ow, you hurt my wrist, stuff like that. And then in court, Celia Flores wore a bandage on her forehead and had what looked to be bruising near her right eye. When she stood up to enter her plea, she appeared to hold on to a U.S. Marshal for support. The Times reported, which actually I kind of want to, let me open up that New York Times article. Times reported Mark Donnelly, Flores' lawyer, said she suffered severe injuries that need to be treated. When asked to identify herself, Flores said, I'm the First Lady of the Republic of Venezuela, and also pleaded not guilty. The U.S. Department of Justice has accused Maduro and his wife of being involved in cocaine trafficking and also added a charge for allegedly possessing machine guns. Which that to me, I'm just like, wait, you can what? Like you can arrest the president of a country for selling drugs. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to make a joke about this before, but I was going to make a joke about this on Twitter or something, but I just didn't. I just didn't get around to it or whatever. But I was like, so often, it's been a real theme recently. It's been a real theme recently where like, and maybe it's been like this the whole time, and I'm just new to a lot of this stuff, but it's been a real theme recently where like the U.S. government will be like, we got to do this because of A, B, and C, and I sit back and I go, hey man, don't we do A, B, and C? Like I'm pretty sure, you know what I mean? Like I know it was a while ago, but like, didn't we do that whole like Iran Contra stuff? Weren't we doing like the whole? Didn't you guys flood the black community with crack cocaine? Like, wasn't that you guys? You know? And then honestly, like even if he is, because this is the thing you got to do when like looking at this shit is you like, okay, let's just say you guys are 100% right, and it's like even if they're 100% right, it's like, oh, they're bringing in cocaine into the US. You're like, okay, are you mad that they're encroaching on your turf? Or like, you're like, no, we do that. But it's like, the funny part is like, it's not even like crack or like, they're not even claiming like crack or fentanyl or any of the like really scary ones. It's like cocaine. You're like, yeah, they're flooding in designer drugs that rich people really want. You know what I mean? Like you can't, Coke's not like, you know, everyone on Kensington Ave in Philly isn't there because of Coke. You know what I mean? And then I looked up other articles. I found this from the fucking the BBC. I was gonna make a big black cock joke. That's hack. All right. So what is Maduro charged with? Oh, but and then and then the other part is like, oh, see, it's like, wait, you can't. I was like, I would assume the president of a country can have machine guns. Like, what? You became the president of a country, and then another country's like, you can't have machine guns. You're like, doesn't he have an army? Like, am I missing something? Am I missing something? Like, I get it. You're technically you're not allowed to traffic drugs into our country. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, but like, isn't the president in charge of his army? He's not allowed to have machine guns? I don't know. What is Maduro charged with? Barely 48 hours after U.S. forces took Nicolas Maduro and his wife from a compound in Caracas, the Venezuelan leader stood in New York court and pleaded not guilty to conspiracy charges brought by the U.S. government as the world grapples with the highly unusual military seizure by the U.S. of another world leader. The criminal case against Maduro will work through the justice system, much like any other filed in New York, based upon the evidence of U.S. law. Prosecutors in their charging document alleged Maduro, his wife and son, and their accomplices engaged in a cocaine trafficking conspiracy and partnered with cartels designated as terrorist groups. And you're like, what? The president is like trafficking? Because also too, like, I don't know, it's just a bold claim. Because I was also seeing shit where like Venezuela gets a fuck ton of money from other countries, but he's like, yeah, man, let's sell a little coke too. It seems like it's like, you know what it is? It's like when people go about like, when people hyper obsess over like hate crimes, where it's like, yo, you know that guy who murdered that guy? You know, the murderer? He's also racist. And you're like, I got to imagine that's not the most important thing to talk about him. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's the murderer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, the more I read about this, it really does feel like it's like, hey, we really would like access to those oil fields. And Maduro was like, no. And then we were like, okay, well, we'll just take them then. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like our government's the mob. It's almost like it's the mob. They said the accused abused their position of public trust and corrupted once legitimate institutions to import tons of cocaine into the United States. Maduro's previous called such charges a tool to further imperial plans for getting access to Venezuela's rich oil reserves. And it's like, it's so funny to be like, how could you? It's so funny that it's like, oh, our government really cares about drugs coming into the country. So like, is that why you guys like, is that why there's no homeless problem in LA? You know what I mean? You guys didn't seem, when all those fucking not health insurance, but like the healthcare, what the fuck I can't fucking think. When they were trying to, when all those healthcare companies were like, oh, hey, we got this, it's this little heroin in a pill. It's like, how about that opioid crisis, bro? How about that fucking opioid crisis where you like basically legalized heroin? You know what I mean? Like, how about that? You didn't seem to care much about drugs then. I'll drive. There's a live feed of Kensington online. We could pull it up right now. Doesn't really seem like you guys care about drugs over there. Like what? And then it's like, and then the drug they're talking about is cocaine, which arguably, like, you don't ruin your life from cocaine, but it's there when your life's getting ruined, but you're not ruining your life because of cocaine. It's almost like all this shit is just like fucking Dune or Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. In court Monday, his lawyer suggested he should be immune to prosecution as the leader of a sovereign country and that the U.S. taking him for force is illegal. Yeah, that's the other part, too. That's the other, like, crazy... that's also, like, the crazy precedent a lot of this shit is setting. Where it's like, because they haven't like charged, like they haven't gone, like I think his court hearing's set to like March something, and it's like, well, we charged you with this, so now we can kidnap a president. Which, again, if we're talking about problems, I would say there's other presidents of other smaller countries that may get a shit ton of healthcare, may get a shit ton of welfare from us. That like there's much more. Like, I don't know, has anyone committed a genocide in the past couple of years? Maybe we go get that guy. Maybe let's double check if there's a guy who's committed a genocide in the past year or two. Maybe we go get that guy instead of the the cocaine trafficker. The fuck are we doing, dude? It's like, that's my whole thing. It's like, I'm having a whole thing where it's like, yeah, we shouldn't be doing this. We should be like, it should be diplomacy. We should be talking to people. Like, we need to stop going into aggression every time. And, it should be we should stop going into like wanting to fuck shit up and fight wars and do all this crazy shit, like these shows of force. This like might makes right bullshit. But the funny part is, like, even when we do your thing, it's fucking gay and stupid. It's not like, that's the other part of it. Everyone's posting all these memes of like, oh, it's so fucking badass. It's so fucking badass. And you're like, it is badass how they got Maduro, but the people supporting this, shouldn't it be just as badass? Shouldn't you want them to be badass in another country where some president may have genocided a whole group of people? If you're mad at drug trafficking, getting a genocidal maniac would be 10,000 times more badass. Like, what are we doing, man? As he left court, Maduro said in Spanish that he's kidnapped president, a prisoner of war, his wife. Good spirits, according to state attorney. 25-page indictment. U.S. prosecutors laid out a case that allegedly began in 1999 when Maduro was first elected to public office, saying he, Flores, his son, Nicolas Ernesto Maduro Guro. That's a fucking tongue twister. Nicolas Ernesto Maduro Guro. Gura, I mean, and 3 others participated in a relentless campaign of code. So like fucking the president's son and 3 other people did a bunch of cocaine trafficking. This is why we have to topple the government. This is why we have to do regime change. Or I guess it's some people are saying it's not regime change. They're just taking Maduro out. But if you're taking Maduro out and going in, you guys have to do what we say. It's, you know, it's a regime change of a different word, I guess. Current and former Interior Minister of Venezuela. All right. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Altogether, the six people face 4 counts, including endangering in a narco conspiracy with designated terrorist groups, conspired to traffic cocaine to the U.S. and possessing and using illegal weapons. Like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't know there was an illegal weapon for the president of a country. You know what I mean? The indictment accuses them of working with the FARC, a revolutionary armed force of Colombia, the Sinaloa and Zetas cartel, Trende Auga. The Trende Auga, the U.S. government designated them all terrorist groups in February 2025. Prosecutors allege the accused provided law enforcement cover and logistical support for drug shipments through Venezuela, knowing they're going to the U.S. Before becoming president of the U.S., government says Maduro provided passports to drug traffickers and facilitated diplomatic cover for planes used by money launderers to repatriate drug proceeds from Mexico to Venezuela. After taking office in 2013, he allegedly allowed the drug to blah, 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 blah. I'll read a lot of that later. But yeah, man, I don't know. Oh shit, that's the New York Times stuff. Yeah, man, all this Venezuela shit's fucking fascinating. I gotta be honest, like, I'm getting to a point where, like, I'm getting to like a fucking point where I'm like, you guys just say you're dictators. Like, it's getting, you know what it is? It's like my autism. I just go like, can we just say what it is? Because like I was arguing with my friend where it was like Trump's just being Hitler, and I go, no, Trump's openly being Hitler. And I'm sure you could say who's been worse and who's been, but it's like if you just look at the meat and potatoes of what they're doing, it's like they've all been fucking Hitler. Trump's just like openly being Hitler. You know what I mean? And I know it's cringe to compare people to Hitler, but it's like whoever you want, whatever fascist dictator. You know what I mean? Trump's just like more open about it because he wants to take all the credit. You know, a lot of the other ones were, because that's like my whole thing. It's like I was arguing with someone else where now I know they're claiming like Chinese and Russian connections, which I'm sure there are. I saw someone post a thing where it's like they were getting funding from China and shit like that. But it's like, I was talking to someone and they were saying like, well, the reason they went in, and I just like, I made a comment and I go, yeah, but like, I wonder how much of that is the truth. And they were like, they looked at me like I was stupid. They're like, all of it. And I'm like, yeah, but if you just go off every single time we've ever done this, I'm just saying the odds are in my favor that they're lying. You know what I mean? And then like my friend was like throwing out all these like logistics of like, well, you know, it's like if they get like if these people are helping them, then they could be making a nuke, which I mean like, oh, so like Iran, like the thing they've been saying since like the late 80s about Iran that has never come true. You know, and like it's just the problem is sometimes you talk to people about this who, and I'm by far means a fucking expert or anything like this. I've just read a little bit about this stuff. And what I'm trying to say is like, what I'm trying to say is, like, I've read this script and I've heard these catchphrases before. I'm just saying, it's like, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, the government is probably lying to us. Like, that was what I was also saying to my friend, is just like, I'm just going based off the fact that the government lies to us constantly. It was funny too, because my friend goes, "That sounds really prejudiced," and I thought he was trying to say some like racial shit, and I was like, "The fuck are you talking about?" But then he goes, he's like, "No, it's very prejudiced against the government." And I go, "Yeah, because they have they." I was like, "Sure, if you want to say it that way, it's kind of gay, but if you want to say it that way." What's the word? What's the definition of prejudice? Preconceived opinions that is not based on reason or actual experience. Oh, okay, no. I'm not prejudiced then. Dislike, hostility, or unjust behavior deriving from unfounded opinions. Okay, no, I'm not prejudiced against the government. I'm cautious. That's a better term for what I am then. Because no, I'm like, that's what I'm trying to say is I'm basing my opinions off of the things they do constantly. You know, so like, I don't know what this is exactly, but based off everything ever, I can't imagine it's because of cocaine. Oh, do they care about cocaine? But just look at our country. Look at America. You think they care? Look at America and tell me they care about, you know, how drugs are affecting anyone. You know what I mean? I'll take you to downtown Austin and you can let me know if they care about drugs in this country. I'll take you to fucking LA, parts of New York, parts of this country, man. All parts of this country. And you can let me know how much the government really does care about drugs being in this country. Yeah, you know what I mean? Man. But yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure Trump cares about cocaine. 100% based off reasons. Yeah. That's the problem. And I try to remind myself, because, like, how do I say this without being pretentious? When it comes to, like, because it's like, I'm not trying to act like I'm such a smart guy, but when you're like, when it comes to certain topics, especially in like politics or like world history or stuff like that, there's just certain topics where it's like, well, I try to read about what, like, God, this is all gonna come off so fucking pretentious. Perfect example with like conspiracies. Like yeah, here. Like, I got the fucking Timothy McVeigh Aberration in the Heart Related to Real by Wendy Paintings. So like, that's a perfect example. Like, dude, my buddy was like, "What'd you do today?" This happened recently. My buddy was like, "What'd you do today?" And I was like, "Actually, honestly, I spent a lot of it reading this book about the Oklahoma City bombing." And my buddy goes, "Why would you do that?" And now here's the thing about him. He's not being shitty. He genuinely, like, because if you don't know all the extra shit, you're genuinely like, who wants to read a book about that? But then when you find out, you're like, well, there's theories that the government did that. So then you get to a level where someone hears that and then they go like, wait, so you're crazy and think the government did that? So then you have to have another level of like, well, here's all these things. And then it's like, okay, that's weird, but that could also be like coincidences or something like that. Or it just could be like some bad actors here. And then you got to bring them down another level where you go like, well, let me bring up these 10 million examples where very similar stuff happened. It's almost like there's patterns that I've started to notice that would imply certain things. And it's like, you just have to, and then eventually, if they're willing to listen and they're willing to let their worldview get severely, because that's the other part of it. That's why it's so hard to talk about conspiracies and any of this stuff. Because it's like, you got to convince someone that we're all pawns on a chessboard. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't want to fucking hear that. And there's a lot, and I've experienced it with the conspiracy stuff. Like, dude, even the thing, like, I've talked about before. I don't know if 9/11 was a controlled demolition, but I do start at the basis where I go, you gotta, like, this is where you gotta ask yourself. You go, do you think there's people in the government that give a fuck about 3,000 American lives getting destroyed in one day? And you gotta really sit there and go, like, I got to be honest. The way that they fucking murk brown people in other countries, I got to be honest. Like, what's 3,000 here? You know what I mean? So you got to that's a big thing to accept. That's a big fucking thing to accept. So, like, you got to realize, like, I'm just a few more levels of reality set back, or whatever the fuck you would say. This all comes off very pretentious. I apologize. I don't mean to say this. I don't mean to be like this. I'm just trying to be honest, but I get in the whatever. Yeah, that's why I try to be like patient with people. I'm not saying people have to agree with me. It's just I think a lot of times I talk about shit, and like when you know the shit that I know, you start to realize like all my opinions aren't that fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the real reality, is like a lot of the shit I say isn't actually that fucking crazy. You know what I mean? It's just, it's akin to being like, I'm on season 10 and you're on season 1, but you think you know fucking everything. And it's like, you don't actually. And I don't think I know everything. But I'm on season 10, so I have a better picture of this shit. I don't know. This all comes off incredibly pretentious. I apologize. I'm sorry I exist, guys. I do know what you mean. You know what I am saying? Do you know what I am saying? This is fun. Let me see if there's anything else I want to hit you guys with that I wanted to yap about. Yeah, the Kansas Owens thing was gay. Yeah, let's do some culture war shit. Why not? Because this one, and I saw this, and I know it's end wokeness and it's kind of gay, but all this stuff's kind of funny. It says New York City Mayor Madani's tenant director Sia Weaver will transition from treating property as an individual good to a collective good. Whites especially will be impacted.
I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
You know what my thing with all these people are? Why is it always the why is it always people that look like they run a bank in a Harry Potter movie or something? Nah, that joke doesn't make sense. Why? Let's back that up. Let's try it again. Why do they always look like they're in the background scene of a fucking Star Wars movie? That joke makes more sense. You know what I mean? It's like it's so fascinating to like, and I know I'm being mean. And I don't mean to be mean, but like, if you're gonna if you're gonna talk this much shit, and go, people are gonna have to do this, and like, oh, I know what's best for the world. I would say maybe, maybe don't look like you fix pod racers. Is that an option? Ma'am? Maybe don't look like you're fucking tuning up Anakin's pod racer. Like, that's fucking crazy, man. And then they're just going to be like, you're going to have to. It's the same way Elon talks about his stupid fucking car. He's like, you're going to have to think about things. Okay, well, your chest is a perfect square. Who the fuck are you? I don't have to do fucking anything. You can say, I have this gay ass car. Would you like to drive my gay ass car? And I say, maybe. It's kind of, it's kind of fun to drive. Maybe. Oh, there's not a lot of electrical ports yet? No, I don't want to drive it right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, it's not the ownership of my property is not based off of like your little fucking philosophical outlook on life. I own the property. It's my property. If you would like to do something on my property, you can ask me about that. It's not this fucking, this shit's crazy. Let's play. I want to play it one more time just to get a refresher so I can find more things to yell about.
Reality is that I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good. And
well, it's funny too because it's like, okay, I agree. Give me that painting behind you, stupid. Give me that painting behind you. Well, it's collective. It's not. You should stop. It's not an individualized thing. Let me in your apartment. Let me in. Like, what are you talking about, you idiot? Because that's the thing. It's that fucking video we talked about yesterday. I don't know if I have it still saved. I think I got rid of it. But it was that fucking video. Is that fucking video we watched yesterday where the kid was like, we should be robbed. As white colon, that's the other thing, by the way. It's always the frailest, weirdest looking fucker in the world. It's always a fucking frail fuck you've never seen a day in your life. You go, I didn't know you guys existed. It's always a fuck you've never seen a day in your life being like, we are the superior. I don't think you are. I don't think, in your little fucking corny Marxist worldview. I don't know if you have any white privilege. Look at you. You can barely stand outside for 5 minutes without bursting into flames. Like, I don't know if you have any white privilege, idiot. You know what I mean? And it's always people like that who are just like, we need to take our privilege because we are the dominant class. And you're like, you're not, dude. But anyway, that kid specifically was like, in the fucking video, the kid specifically was like, we need to, like, white people, like, literally in front of a black dude was like, white people like us should get robbed. And he goes, okay, I'm finna rob you then. Give me your phone. And he's like, no, I need this. And you're like, exactly. It's not fun to get robbed. And then it's like the same thing with this stupid bitch. The same thing with this stupid bitch where she's like, we need to think about property as a collective good. It's like, all right, give me your shit. Give me your shit then, dumbass. You're not gonna, right? You're not fucking gonna. Because it's not, your stuff isn't my stuff. You idiot. Your stuff isn't my stuff. Your stuff is your stuff. Because that's how property rights work. You moron. It's this weird thing where they just want to, like, it's this like self-defeating self-hatred that they make everyone else's fucking problem. And it's just like, go to therapy and stop hating yourself. You know what I mean? I like, that's the only way I can conceive this like fucking commie socialist bullshit making sense to people. You know what I mean? It's like, because people who don't hate themselves go like, well, I don't want that to happen to me. You know what I mean? You know, any of those most extreme things, like the average person is going to look at like, it's like when they were trying to say like, oh, when black people steal, that's reparations. It's like, well, I mean, even if it is, I don't want you to steal my stuff. Like, even if you agreed with it 100%, you would still be like, how do you still not have the whole like, well, but I don't want you to steal my stuff. It has to come from this place of like fucking self-hatred where you're just like, I'm nothing. So why would you even need to, and that then goes back to like my whole fucking like when I talk about nihilism and stuff like that, it's like if you think there's no property and, you know, people should just get their stuff taken away because of what a fucking, you know, a weird bug looking lady thinks and all this other shit. Like, why are you involved in this? Why are you fucking trying? It's weird, man. It's weird. Like, a lot of these people have this energy of like, well, my dad was mean to me as a kid and I'm going to make it everyone's problem. You're like, can you not, man? Can you just lay in the cut? If you're going to be one of these people that's like not trying to help out, can you just lay in the fucking cut? Because that's really what it is. That's what a lot of the fucking socialist people don't appreciate. They don't fucking appreciate that it's like, yo, if you just hang the fuck out and let hardworking capitalists do their fucking job, you know, free market capitalists preferably. But like, if you just let them do their fucking job, there will be an abundance and you will be able to do all your fucking F-slurry shit. And honestly, no, I take it back. I'm getting a little hot. It's not even F-slurry shit. It's all like, you know, it all comes, I be sympathetic. It all comes from a place of like, we just want to help people. We just want to share. We just want everyone to have some. But like the way they go about it is just so fucking unjustifiable. And it's like, yeah, you don't have a right to anyone's shit. You can ask for it and you can make an argument, but you don't just inherently, because someone has less in your eyes, you don't just inherently get someone else's shit. You know what I mean? You don't have a right to anyone else's shit. And then because it's like, if you have that mindset, but then also if you don't let the capitalists, you don't let the crony capitalists let the government give them an unfair advantage, we can have a surplus and we can have a balance and things can be nice. But the other thing I wanted to say about this too is I will say from because I have a lot of friends in New York and there's a lot of good people in New York. I don't want to see, and New York's kind of like all jokes aside, New York existing is a cool fucking thing for the world. There's a lot of cool shit about New York and I don't want to see New York go to fuck, but it's like legitimately, like you could see this in the next decade or so, you could see this city get completely destroyed. And that would be crazy. That would be crazy to see, like, in my lifetime, to see New York not be New York. But like, it could happen. But I will say this could be like a large scale wake up call to all these people who go like, who want to implement this shit 1,000%. You know, it's kind of fucked up. But if we just look at it, you know, we zoom out from it, like this could, because it's like, that's the thing with a lot of this socialist stuff is, I've said it before, a lot of the times too, especially when you go like, oh, they have, we're the only country that doesn't have universal healthcare and stuff. It's like all those countries that have universal healthcare are not fully socialist. You know, the only time you see socialist shit working is when a country is able to have self-control, and they really only implement a little bit of that shit. You know? And they're not overbearing. Like, if you can keep it to like 25 to 35% socialism, you can vibe out, because that's how a lot of the socialist bullshit exists. It's because it's not productive. It's just nice. That's the problem with it. A lot of the socialist stuff, it's not productive. It's nice. Oh, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if we had this. And I gotta be honest, I like that a little. I like that mindset. Wouldn't it be nice? You know what I mean? You get that from your wife. Wouldn't it be nice if we have this? And she like forces you to have nice stuff. Like, I'm building this bookshelf back here. I told my wife, I was like, fucking, I'll get a table and put my books under it. I don't care. And then your wife goes, no, we're going to get a nice bookshelf that makes your room look nice. And, you know, I kind of bust her balls because it was a little too expensive. But now that I'm putting it together, I go, this is a nice bookshelf. I'm glad she got me this bookshelf. I will like to put my books on this nice ass bookshelf. It might trick people into thinking I'm smarter than I actually am. Fingers crossed. But, you know, you can't just do, that would be nice for everything. That's the problem with socialism. It comes from a good place for a lot of people, not the people in charge. The people in charge know what they're doing and they're taking advantage of you. But it comes from a nice place for a lot of just normal people, but everything can't be, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Cause then it's like, you don't have any structure to fund what would be nice. So yeah, that's why, I think a lot of people like me are talking so much shit, because it's like, if you let Mom Donnie rip the way they want him to rip, I mean, good luck to people in New York. Hopefully it doesn't get bad. It just gets bad. Well, I mean, I don't want it to get bad, but hopefully it doesn't get bad. But yeah, man, I think this is a good one. I think I'm a little talked out. It's noon anyway. Ripped an hour 51 solo. Good fucking times. Yeah, just a reminder, if you're on Twitch, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I'll comment it down below. If you're not on Twitch, there's the link. Please consider hitting the subscribe button. We're here every single fucking day talking real shit. Let me just check. Derek reached 5 stream streak. Oh shit. Oh, that's funny. It tells me if you guys have streaks. That's pretty cool. But hey, 5 on the YouTube. That's pretty cool. That's good stuff. This was a very fun hang. Yeah, guys, if you $15 in train rides a day. If everyone in the chat, if you could help me out real quick. Hey, Tonye, what's up, brother? Everyone in the chat, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch, if you could click on that YouTube link, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, just gay algorithm stuff. It would mean a lot. I appreciate you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. I love you. Have a good